Good morning. I would like to welcome distinguished guests, and I want to welcome our friends at this conference. I am very happy to be part of this conference organized by a foundation bearing a name of Alex Rondelli, an extraordinary personality who has been at the origins of creating a foundation for strategic and international studies, which has become a center generating on and on fresh intellectual power to Georgia's foreign policy making. So thank you very much for organizing this event. I am also grateful to the Stratpol and the International Visegrad Fund for enabling this security forum, which has become one of the major international security platforms in the South Caucasus, bringing together experts and policymakers from the region and beyond. I would say that these are indeed challenging times, not only for our region, but for a wider region surrounding us. And I'm in a good company to reflect on the tasks lying ahead. Georgia values its increasing involvement in discussions regarding Black Sea security. Recent developments demonstrate the need for a common strategic vision and effective security arrangements in order to ensure European and regional security as a whole. We happen to be on the crossroads of global problems, with 20% of my country's territory occupied, with foreign minister of Russian Federation deliberately visiting occupied territories, and with the further militarization of occupied territories in full swing. Nevertheless, Georgia remains an island of, I would say, relative stability in these turbulent times, despite the significant turmoil it has experienced on its brief historical path, including overcoming shocks some nations would not have been able to. I would like to once again reaffirm that my vision is to solve our conflicts peacefully through the engagement of our strategic partners such as United States, EU, NATO, and of course based on the full respect of Georgia's sovereignty and territorial integrity within its internationally recognized borders. All this encourages us to continue our rational, prudent, and consistent policy based on the national interests of Georgia. During the last 25 years, since Georgia regained its independence, we transformed ourselves from a country ravaged by civil war into a dynamic democratic state. The Georgian people have made their goal of joining the European Union and NATO not only a priority, but a destiny leading to higher standards of democracy, security, peace and prosperity in our country and the region. It is now time to reaffirm and solidify cooperation between Georgia and our Western allies as the foundation for regional security and economic development. We are pleased that NATO agenda has added, among others, the universally crucial issue of Black Sea security. Georgia, as a responsible partner, is committed to making its contribution. At the same time, we want the Black Sea to become an area of economic cooperation. To this end, we are building a new port in Anaglia with help from our Western partners who view Georgia today through a different prism and believe in Georgia's ability to remain an island of stability. It is a clear example of investment in the economies of both our country and the region. It is a key component of the Great Silk Road, which is drastically changing the perception of our region's political geography. We are honored and excited to take part in regional projects as well as global projects that will benefit the entire world. The new Silk Road is not only about trains and ships, kilometers of miles. It is an axis of cooperation in a vital part of the world which has all the necessary variables to achieve a solid and sustainable order. More than that, in Georgia, hardware meets software. A few years ago, we signed a deep and comprehensive free trade area agreement with the EU, which means access to a single European market of 500 million consumers. We are an opening window to the economies of Central Asia and the Far East. In this respect, we provide physical access through modern transport infrastructure and normative access in terms of free trade agreements. Specifically, we have already finalized negotiations, and Georgia will be the first country in the region to have a free trade agreement with China. We also have in place free trade agreements with CIS, Turkey, GSP regimes with the United States, Canada, and Japan, and plan to launch an FTA negotiations with India this year. Thanks to a liberal trade regime, low taxes, and our strategic location, and also exceptional environment for doing business, Georgia has become a new regional frontier for investment opportunities. And yet it is only one component in the regional security architecture. What I mean by a different prism is transparency and responsibility as the pillars of security and democracy. This is how risks are mitigated, and this is how we counter external threats. We are equally transparent and dependable in other global projects of strategic political importance, such as the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan, Baku-Tbilisi-Erzurum, and the upcoming Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway project. Georgia is located on the crossroads of practically every vital interest of the West and East in our region. This is what makes us valuable to our neighbors and partners in the context of building the security architecture. Let me assure you that we do recognize the magnitude of our responsibility. Georgia is the stronghold of Western interests in the region and in this architecture. And all the while, we are determined to guarantee and contribute to the success of countries to our east and south. It is in this spirit that we look forward to continued cross-regional dialogue and coordination, while we maintain our dialogue with our northern neighbor and hope that they will eventually understand that stability in the South Caucasus serves the interests of every country in this region. For example, we are a vital buffer zone in the war against the expansion of terrorism and fundamentalism. At the same time, the countries of our region must dedicate greater attention to solving regional problems to remain resilient to adverse forces. We in Georgia spare no effort to create a more secure and prosperous region, and we call upon our neighbors to jointly contribute to this common goal. I am convinced that this forum will serve as a vital platform for generating new ideas in this respect. Thank you very much, and I wish you success and enjoyable time in Georgia. Thank you.